Howdy folks, I'm Comfy Common branded Skipper, casually chilling on cushy clover.
I'm allergic, Amber.
And here's more cushy clover for us to rest on because that's what we do as butterflies. And Amber won't be joining us because she apparently has some allergies and doesn't really feel up to being on screen today. So let's get started. I mean, she'll join us on off screen like always.
Yes, I'll be hanging out in the background. You don't need to watch me wipe my nose.
All right, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to Let My Friend Propose at My Book Launch? I'm a 23-year-old female, and I recently published my first novel, a massive milestone for me after years of rejection and rewrites. I hosted a small book launch party, inviting close friends, family, and a few industry folks. Well, a week before the event, my friend Lucas asked if he could propose to his girlfriend during the party. I outright said no, that this was deeply personal, something that I'd worked towards for a decade, and I didn't want it overshadowed. He said that he understood, or so I thought. Well, midway through the party, as I'm giving a short thank you speech, he gets down on one knee, everyone gasped, and this shifted the focus to them. His girlfriend said yes, people clapped, and suddenly it was their night. Afterwards, I pulled him aside and asked why he did it. He said, "You were already emotional, so I thought that it fit the vibe." I immediately told him that I felt completely disrespected. Now several friends are saying that I'm being dramatic and that love should be celebrated anytime. But I feel that I was robbed of my moment. Somebody please tell me, am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, absolutely not the jerk. People need to stop stealing the spotlight at other people's events. It's cheap. Like, it shows you can't be bothered to come up with your own unique proposal. You're just stealing someone else's event and turning it into your own.
Yeah, I mean, I'll actually really love some of the comments that are under this post here, and I won't say that I came up with this on my own, but one of the comments essentially suggests that OP should milk this for all it's worth, and say, well, since you have proposed at my book thing, I'm so happy that it brought you together, and then try selling books and stuff like that at their wedding.
Yeah, like set up a table at the wedding with like the book that brought the couple together.
Yeah, type of stuff here. So don't get mad, get even.
Yes.
any party they have, engagement parties, showers, those kinds of things, go ahead and just be like, oh, well, here's my book that brought them together.
I mean, love should be celebrated anywhere, and clearly this book is so central to it.
Yeah, it's a fixture in their relationship now, forever. Make sure to bring it and get some pictures, group pictures with it. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Strong Opinion says, not the jerk, bring a few cartons of signed books to his wedding reception and set up a table where you can sell them. And Old Biscotti 3535 says, yes, OP, use this to your advantage, since you are going to be part of their engagement story. And Collection Straight 2 says, and if they complain, sweetly remind them that not everything is about them, and the limelight can be shared, just as they shared your limelight when they got engaged. And Hydra Head says, OP, make a speech at their wedding about your book reading. Bring the book and do a reading. And Kinthesaurus says, a book signing at your former friend's wedding would go so hard. And My LL Strange says, and advertising it on TikTok and just asking strangers to show up to be messy. Oh. Well, that would be certainly something. End of the World and No Beer says, you announce your second book launch at his wedding. And Brilliant Reindeer 93 says, that's been picked up with $5 million advance by a major publishing house, which couldn't have come at a better time because you just found out that she's pregnant with triplets. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling Another Mom That I Feel Sorry for Her Daughter? I'm a 43-year-old female, and my son, a 14-year-old male, is in the same class as this girl. We'll call her Maya. I've known Maya since they were little, and she's always been one of those really high-achieving kids. Her mom is a professor in electrical engineering and very focused on academics. Maya has been doing extra activities since she was a kid, coding, math competitions, spelling bees, all of it. She's clearly very smart, no doubt, but lately I've just started feeling a little sad for her. I've noticed how she also loves dressing up, makeup, and girly stuff. She's always so put together, and I can tell that she enjoys those things too. But she never really seems to hang out with the other girls much. She's always busy preparing for something academic. It reminds me of when I was her age and how important it is just to have a carefree time with friends. I couldn't help but feel like maybe she was missing out on that experience. Well, after a school event, I was chatting with her mom, and I made the mistake of saying something like, I've always admired how driven Maya is, but I sometimes feel bad for her. I just hope that she gets to enjoy being 14 years old, too. Her mom got really cold and basically accused me of being jealous. She said something like, is this because Maya did better than your son in the math competition? I was honestly shocked. I told her that's not what this is about at all. I hadn't been keeping track of who wins, and as far as I know, they're both the top in their class, and I'm really proud of my son. I explained that my son got into coding and math because he genuinely loves it. He's the one who started exploring that stuff on his own. With Maya, it just seems like a lot of pressure from her mom's side. And to be honest, I even said that obviously, when it comes to math, Maya has a big advantage. Her mom is a literal professor in that field. I'm not. I'm not some rich academic who can tutor my kid at that level. I'm just doing my best to support my son however I can. Some of the STEM stuff might also have been a big push to try and get more girls, and I feel like they might use her for marketing and give her first prize since she is good at marketing for that, like hackathons and robotics competitions. Well, she cut me off and said Maya loves everything that she's doing and doesn't need anyone to feel sorry for her. I tried to clarify that I didn't mean to insult either of them, but I could tell that she was already completely shut down. Now I'm wondering if I crossed the line. I didn't mean to question her parenting or Maya's interest. I just felt like that maybe no one was thinking of how much pressure she might be under. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yes, OP, you're the major jerk. Your sour grapes are showing through in full force in this letter. Maybe they just give her the win for marketing purposes. Like, it's very clear you start out strong with this fake concern, but it's very clear you have an ulterior motive here. You see this and you're like, why isn't my son first? How could this girly girl be beating my son? Newsflash, you can be both feminine and genuinely enjoy STEM stuff. Like, I have a PhD in physics, and I also have a very like feminine like appearance, and like neither of those is contradictory. You can like girly things, you can like STEM stuff. There's no contradiction there.
Yeah. I also will kind of want to interject before I go too far here that academics aren't rich.
Yes.
Generally. I mean, maybe there are some that are rich, but generally academics are squarely middle class. If that, right? If you're academic and you're adjuncting, you are actually probably poverty level,
yes.
right? So maybe if she were a sports director or something like that, then she would be rich. So I mean, but
yeah, like if you're an athletic director at a university, you're making bank. But if you're just a professor,
yeah. So the thing is that I think that OP might have some legitimate concern here. But I also think that there might be some actual jealousy going on here. Like she's like, well, my son got into these things because he was sincerely interested in it versus your daughter got into them because you pushed her too hard. That's kind of poor form. And then she's like, well, I didn't mean to be judgmental towards your parenting style while simultaneously saying one of the most judgmental things that you can.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and again, like it goes back to that tired idea that girls can't genuinely like STEM, that they have to be pushed. Like, if a boy has a dad who's in STEM and decides he wants to emulate his dad, nobody questions it. Nobody is like, oh, well, your dad must be pushing you.
Yeah.
But if a girl who is a STEM professor for her mom wants to emulate her mom, oh, well, you must be pushing her.
Yeah. I mean, like, it is important to let kids be kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely think that that is a legitimate concern. And I think that if Maya isn't getting enough time to be a kid, then that is a legitimate concern here. I don't know that OP is coming from a place of actual sincere concern just because of some of the things that she said in this letter.
Yeah.
Well, but it is important to let kids be kids.
It is, but nothing about what she says seems to indicate that Maya is unhappy. She just notices that Maya isn't playing with the other girls, which again, expecting kids to have same gender friendships is a very strange thing. Like, if it's mostly boys who are doing the STEM stuff and that's where her interests lie, she's going to be more likely to hang out with the boys.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Push Pop Nostalgia says, wait, do you really think that they might only give Maya first place because of marketing? You're the jerk just for that. And OP replies, Of course not, but if there's like top 3 students who did exceptional work and she's among them, they might give her first instead of second, etc. sometimes, since it helps with recruitment next year for girls. Not for stuff like tests with definite answers, but like stuff based on judges and subjective opinions. I mean, every different judge have a different opinion. One hackathon that they did had 2 women judges who both picked her daughter as first, and I can't help but wonder if there was no slight bias. The other 2 judges disagreed until one flipped.
Oh, yeah, OP's internalized misogyny. Like, if they were all male judges and they picked a boy, are going to be like, well, they're picking a boy because, that's their bias toward him. We do know that gender bias is a thing in STEM, but it generally favors men. And so that's not to say that there aren't people who are biased in the other direction or anything like that. But the fact that she's like, well, women judges, clearly they're biased toward her because she's a girl and it's better marketing.
So, I mean, clearly this other judge that flipped didn't feel, because, I mean, there's going to be a lot of, like, I would hope that there would be some integrity here, right? And I feel like if they sincerely thought that that the other students did better, that the judge would stick to their guns and say that. But the fact that they were able to be persuaded kind of shows that maybe this isn't quite the whole picture that OP's painting.
Well, it sounds like that didn't even happen. Like OP was hypothesizing about maybe the other judge felt the other way. Like the way it read, I didn't get that that was actually a thing that happened.
Yeah, the other 2 judges disagreed until one flipped. So, I mean, it doesn't even, I guess it seems like,
it's very unclear what happened exactly there, but...
And Cats Are Jerk says, have you considered that maybe it was the male judges who were in fact biased towards the boys? Why do you assume that the male judges were neutral and the female judges were not? And OP replies, it is possible, but to be clear, I'm not mad about them making her first. She did good work. If it helps more girls get interested and prove to them that they can do it too, there's nothing wrong with it at a pre-high school level. I don't know. I just think that OP is kind of digging themselves in a bit here.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clear OP has ulterior motives and that she is upset that her precious baby isn't winning.
Because they don't even answer... They don't even answer the person's question, because the person's like, well, why are you assuming that the women judges are biased and not the male judges? And that she doesn't even answer that. She just says, but I mean, I don't care if they are biased towards her, because it might help get other women interested. And like that doesn't answer it, just kind of doubles down that you don't think that you're wrong.
Yeah, it reinforces OP's idea that women are inherently biased and not reliable. And it's just such a really sad perspective that she as a woman would see other women as like inherently untrustworthy when it comes to judging a competition. What else can't women do? We're all so biased.
All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Reporting My Boyfriend's Mom for Taking and Wearing My Graduation Dress? I'm a 33-year-old female, and I just finished my degree after 5 years of part-time school while working full-time. My boyfriend, a 34-year-old male, Ben, and I have been together for 3 years. His mom, Terry, can be a lot, but we've mostly gotten along. Well, a couple of months ago, Terry offered to take me dress shopping for my graduation. I wasn't planning on a big party or anything like that, but I wanted something nice to wear for the ceremony and a small dinner afterwards. We found a dark green wrap dress at a boutique, and it was $280, which is more than I would normally spend, but she offered to cover half of it as a graduation gift. Since I was in a tiny apartment at the time, with basically no closet space, she offered to store the dress for me in her guest room so it wouldn't get wrinkled and damaged. I appreciated it, and I didn't think about it twice. Well, 2 days before graduation, I went over to pick it up. That's when she told me that she had lent it out to a friend's daughter for a banquet and said that it was being cleaned. I was completely thrown. I hadn't even worn it yet. She just said that she didn't think that I would mind and figured that I had something else to wear. I didn't. I had bought that dress specifically for this day. I ended up running out the night before graduation and grabbing something that fit okay. It wasn't the same, but the day was still nice, but I was still pretty upset. Well, afterwards, I kept asking her when I would be getting the dress back. She was vague and avoided the question. She wouldn't tell me the name of the cleaner or give me a straight answer. She made it sound like I was overreacting. Well, about a week later, I was sitting with Ben while he was scrolling through Instagram. One of Terry's friends had posted a photo from her birthday dinner. I looked over and saw the group photo. Right in the middle was Terry wearing my graduation dress. I said, "Is that my dress?" And Ben just froze. It was obvious that it was the same one. She never lent it to anyone, she just wore it herself. When I confronted her, she admitted it and said that she only wore it for a couple hours and planned to return it. I said that I didn't want it anymore and asked her to reimburse me. She said that she already paid her half and called me immature. So I filed a small claims case. She took something that belonged to me, wore it, and lied about it and won't pay me back. Now her family, her sister, and some of the cousins close to me are saying that I'm blowing things out of proportion and embarrassing her. Ben is asking me to drop it to keep the peace. But it wasn't just a dress to me. It marked something important. I picked it out for a once-in-a-lifetime moment, and she made it about herself. Am I the jerk? Edit. I'm seeing a lot of people saying things about my boyfriend, but in his defense, I think that he just thought that I was maybe going a step too far with filing a claim, not being upset with his mom. He has been pretty supportive in the last bit since I filed it. Ben called his mom about a half hour ago and told her how many people are saying that her actions were wrong and that I'm not being over dramatic. And she's dead set that she isn't wrong. He said that he's done with her BS. He told her to give the dress back, and his mom says that she doesn't want to deal with me now. And she paid half only when she thought that I was a nice girl, but not anymore, so I can pay the rest first. It's honestly ridiculous. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, she stole money from OP to get this dress. Like, it's clear that she never planned to actually give the dress to OP. She just wanted it for herself. And hey, if OP pays half, then she gets this dress, at a discount.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's despicable the way she used OP and the way she's still behaving. Like, it's all gross. Like, maybe, sure, after she wore it a few times, should eventually give it to OP, but she knew when OP's graduation was. Yeah, like, it's just all around despicable that she'd be like, "Oh yeah, we're getting this dress for your graduation," and then just take it.
Yeah, I mean, I really doubt she had any intention of returning this, at least in not a severely worn state.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she's going to get as much use out of it as she can and then give it to OP as like a secondhand dress. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting at this point in time. And this whole, well, I only offered to pay for half of it when I thought you were a nice girl, like, that's insulting, right?
Right, and now demanding OP pay her $140 for a dress that has already been worn that was supposed to go to OP, like,
and that she still has.
Yep.
Like, Terry still has this dress.
Mm-hmm.
It's in her possession. OP is going to take her to small claims court, and OP is going to get their money back because this is theft. She has the dress. Terry has the dress. She wore the dress. There's not going to be probably any judge in the world that's going to look at this and say, you're being unreasonable, OP, right? I think that Terry is going to learn a hard lesson. And, I mean, I understand OP's hesitation with, I think Terry expected OP not to make noise about this or make a fuss about it because, that's going to ruin the relationship between them and make things uncomfortable. And so I think she was just, thinking that she could push OP around and didn't expect OP to push back this hard, right?
Right, and I think it's good that OP is pushing back because if you don't push back against these people, then they'll continue to take advantage of you.
Mm-hmm.
With the boyfriend being like, "Oh, well, you need to keep the peace," like, you can't keep the peace with these people. They just take and take and take.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Why was the ice cream always snoozing?
Well, the ice cream was always snoozing because it had an ice cream headache, and so it was just trying to rest.
Because it was a dreamsicle.
Oh,
And
I like that.
It's National Creamsicle Day.
Ah,
And it's also Navajo Code Talkers Day.
very good. So go learn Navajo code talking and exchange messages about eating ice cream dreamsicles. Something like that. Something like that. And I have licorice spice. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday, Junior, folks.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Thanks so much to Amber for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, even if I'm off camera.
Yes. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on entitled behavior.
It's important to accept that sometimes your kid just isn't the best at everything.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.